Welcome, everybody. This is episode 1, and I'm starting a new podcast called Doing Dishes with Mundo. Now, if you may have think I've lost my mind, the answer is partially yes. Secondly, I recently no longer work my W-2, so I am having to be really vigilant with my calendar. So time blocking is something very, very critical. Also, something very critical is when I was working a W-2 and when I was doing my real estate stuff on the side, I was working crazy amount of hours and I wasn't really plugged in to my household. And it created a feeling of, kind of being on your own with my wife, right? I wasn't helping out, doing my part. So I am redesigning my life. I have a new chapter that I'm starting. And so one of the things I did was make things that are important to my wife a priority. And that's what I'm starting to do. But if you think, and so one of those things is doing dishes and helping out and doing some chores. If you think I'm going to sit here and do dishes without creating value, no thank you. So that's what we're doing. We're going to be doing dishes daily and we're going to be creating value daily. So this is episode 1, Doing Dishes. So I'm going to be talking about things that are on the agenda for the day, each episode, how I'm going to execute, the mindset, the thinking, all the things. That's what I'm going to be doing while I'm doing dishes. So let's go ahead and get started and do dishes. By the way, this is not going to be some like super high production. You may see some really crappy camera angles. You may hear some loud noises in the background. It's because I'm doing dishes. So let's get after it. Okay. Problem number 1. So my task of doing dishes is unloading the dishwasher. My wife doesn't like how I load the dishwasher because I'm not very efficient at playing Tetris with the dishes. So my only job is to unload it. Today, let me deactivate this. Or not. It's falling in my face. So I'm going to have to awkwardly do this. The dishes are empty. Which is a great lesson in itself. Okay, so my task is to unload the dishwasher. Think about it as your W-2 or, starting your own business. If you have a task that you're supposed to execute and that task is already done, is the episode over for me? Is your work over for you? No. Go and do more, right? That's how you create value. That's how you grow and stretch yourself. So my task was to unload the dishwasher. Well, look, if I could get this thing to stop following me, you'd be able to see, but there's some dishes here in the sink. I can do that. Now, my wife doesn't necessarily like that, but me clearing the sink and running a load of dishwasher is more important than doing nothing, right? So it's 5:45 a.m. in the morning. I just got back from the gym. What is the agenda today? So I just did my workout. We're doing our podcast, about to be doing the dishes. Then I'm going to be doing software development. So that's the way in which I'm going to be monetizing. So I'm going to be working on the software product that I've been building for the past couple months as an amateur, and now I'm going to be doing it as a professional. So that's what we have on the agenda for, 6 a.m. to 7:30. Then around 7:30 to 8:30, I'm going to be playing with my kids, having fun, enjoying some time with my kids. Previously, I was always in a rush and wasn't able to, spend the time that I wanted with my kids. So that's definitely going to be changing. And I got to underwrite. So look at this opportunity. I'm going to underwrite a 44 unit multifamily here in Indianapolis. Someone reached out to me, and normally I don't have time to do that kind of stuff. So think about how many opportunities that I've passed on to create value because I was, working a job. Obviously, I didn't have time. Well, now that's not an excuse. I have all the time in the world. So I'm going to be looking at these opportunities. Hold on, my wife's really going to be mad if I do that. And that's going to be a good segue if I can get the episode done in time. Well, we got a lot going on here. Okay. If I can get the episode done in time, I'm going to use that for underwriting gangsters. So that's another podcast that I have, and it's spending time with my kids, underwriting deals, spending time with my kids. It's really, really funny. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's definitely a lot of humor. Then I'm going to be going live at 10 o'clock. Another podcast series where it is live on YouTube and Facebook, against the clock. 30 minutes. I have 30 minutes to get as much done as possible. The underwriting gangsters, live against the clock, those are money-making activities for me. Why am I doing it live? And why am I doing it Monday through Friday? Because I'm holding myself accountable. So if you're not, or let's just put it this way, if you are comfortable with being on camera, why not hold yourself accountable? When you're sitting there telling people, hey, I'm going to do this Monday through Friday, and you don't do this Monday through Friday, it kind of makes you look stupid, right? So if I have tasks that I know I don't necessarily want to do, but I know I have to do, why not do it live? That's my thinking. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. Then I am going to be doing a class I'm teaching at 12 o'clock for Owners Club, this high-level mastermind that I'm a part of, on business acquisitions. So I actually don't know what I'm going to talk about for that. So I got to figure out what I'm going to talk about for the day. I'm going to film some content. There's some people that want to do some one-on-ones, so I'm going to be filming content there. Notice how I'm like content, even the content I'm creating right now. Then I'm going to be doing software development. I'm going to be working on my 7-day sequencing for the free trial of the software. So right now, a user signs up. There is no experience. There is no welcome email. There is no like, hey, do this day 1, do this day 2. Like there's nothing because it's a brand new software. So that is something that I'm going to be creating, this like white glove onboarding experience that's going to create a lot of value and hopefully help with retention and conversion and all sorts of cool things. And that pretty much is going to be the rest of my day. I'm going to spend a lot of hours. So if we look at this, I'm going to have an hour and a half. Let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'd say about 5 hours of software development, and then we got about 4 hours of content that I'll be filming, and then lots of odds and ends in between that. So what my day is going to look like is up until 6 p.m. and then after 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. is family time. So that's kind of what the day looks like. And you know, I was making pretty good amount of money, 6 figures. And so my task as no longer working a W-2 is, how do I replace that income, right? Well, the only way I know how to replace that income is by using the skills that I already have and using the skills that you already have if you want to replace your income. And as I look at that, you know, I've been a part of building businesses for the past 10 years, so I have a pretty good idea what it takes to grow a business. And I think when people first start their business, they really don't know how hard it is. And that can be a good thing because you're almost like ignorant to the process. Like you don't know how hard it's going to be until you do it. And I think a lot of people looking back, if they knew how hard it was to do the thing and get to where their goal was and how far away achieving that goal actually was, I guarantee you, everyone that's done it, their goal probably took them 4 or 5 times longer than they thought, and they had to work 10 times harder than they thought. Well, I already know this. So the amount of action that you have to take to reach your goal is absolutely insane. And the only way that I know I'm going to be able to do that is by taking an absolute insane amount of action. So that's exactly what I'm going to be doing every single day. And I was playing my calendar yesterday, or 2 days ago, and looking at the task or all the things that I need to accomplish, that I think I need to accomplish to reach my goal, which is to replace my income. And my goal is to be producing $20,000 a month in income within the next 6 months. That's my goal. That's going to require massive action. And I'm going to be honest, I got really overwhelmed looking at my calendar. Oh my gosh, dude. Episode 1. And I broke this glass. Episode 1. Okay. So the new goal is to make $21,000 a month, because apparently I'm going to be breaking glass every episode. That's a problem. Give me 1 second. I am not editing this, by the way. I am shooting and I am posting. So if you ever have these awkward pauses, I'm sorry. This is real life. Anyways, going back to what I was saying before I started breaking stuff, is I was getting really overwhelmed with my calendar and looking at all the things that I have to do. And I was like, dude, even with me not working a W-2, to achieve the things that I want to achieve in this amount of time, it almost seems impossible from the action that I know really needs to happen. And so what do I have to do? I have to be more efficient with my time, more efficient than I have been ever in my life. Now is the most critical time for max efficiency. So things like continuous development. So I have been listening to Alex Hormozi's, all of his books, his audio, really more of the audio stuff, because I can do that while I'm driving. And so fitness is now part of my daily routine and on my new calendar. It used to be kind of like on the back burner. And so I'm looking to stack, okay, how am I going to get my continuous development training in? I'm not going to be driving 30 minutes there to work, 30 minutes back. That's an hour, right? Well, now when I'm at the gym, instead of listening to music, I'm listening to training content. I'm listening to Alex Hormozi's books. How to sell, the one I'm listening to right now is Leads. So I'm listening and consuming all that so I can learn how to best package up my software that can ultimately lead to the best user experience and convert, obviously, the most amount of people. So that's how I'm going to do it. Everything I'm doing throughout the day, I'm looking at how can I kill 3 birds with 1 stone? How can I stack as much value in my time as possible? Because I only have 24 hours in a day, just like you do. And that's how I'm going to do it. I'm looking at every opportunity. How can I work on multiple things at one time to almost create the perception that I'm multiple people, in the same amount of time. So that's the game plan. That's the game plan for day 1. And that is the conclusion of episode 1. You got to see me break some glass. Who knows? Tomorrow I might break a plate. I have no idea. But I'm excited to be on this journey, and I'm excited to share that journey with you. So if you enjoyed this, please do me a favor, go ahead and like and subscribe. And we're going to be consistent. Every day that I do dishes, we're going to be posting. Now, there may be times where I'm traveling. Obviously, that's life. I know I have to go to a property in Tennessee here in a couple of days. We're going to be filming as consistent as possible, as often as possible, kind of sharing the daily execution plan. So if you need some guidance on how to execute at a very, very high level and move at a very fast pace, and go from zero income to over now $21,000 in income per month, this is going to be the blueprint for you. See you next time.